The Pig War was a confrontation in 1859 between the United States and the United Kingdom over the British-U.S. border in the San Juan Islands, between Vancouver Island, present-day Canada, and the Washington Territory, present-day State of Washington. The Pig War, so called because it was triggered by the shooting of a pig, is also called the Pig Episode, the Pig and Potato War, the San Juan Boundary Dispute, and the Northwestern Boundary Dispute. Despite being referred to as a war, there were no human casualties on either side. The Oregon Treaty of June 15, 1846, resolved the Oregon Boundary Dispute by dividing the Oregon Country Columbia District between the United States and Britain along the 49th parallel of north latitude to the middle of the channel, which separates the continent from Vancouver Island, and thence southerly through the middle of the said channel, and of the Strait of Juan de Fuca to the Pacific Ocean. Because of the ambiguity, both the United States and Britain claimed sovereignty over the San Juan Islands. During this period of disputed sovereignty, Britain's Hudson's Bay Company established operations on San Juan and turned the island into a sheep ranch. Meanwhile, by mid-1859, 25 to 29 American settlers had arrived. San Juan Island held significance not for its size, but as a military strategic point. While the British held Fort Victoria on Vancouver Island to the west, overlooking the Strait of Juan de Fuca, the entry point to Haro Strait, leading to the Strait of Georgia, the nation that held the San Juan Islands would be able to dominate all the straits connecting the Strait of Juan de Fuca with the Strait of Georgia. Brigadier General William S. Harney, commanding the Department of Oregon, initially dispatched Captain George Pickett and 66 American soldiers of the 9th Infantry Regiment under Pickett's command to San Juan Island with orders to prevent the British from landing. The regiment sailed aboard USS Massachusetts. Concerned that a squatter population of Americans would begin to occupy San Juan Island if the Americans were not kept in check, the British sent 3 warships under the command of Captain Geoffrey Hornby to counter the Americans. The situation continued to escalate. By August 10, 1859, 461 Americans with 14 cannons under Colonel Silas Casey were opposed by 5 British warships mounting 70 guns and carrying 2,140 men. Governor James Douglas of Vancouver Island ordered Captain Hornby to dislodge the American troops on San Juan Island while avoiding armed conflict. At the time, only Pickett's 66 men were present, with additional American reinforcements not yet arrived. Hornby refused to act until British Rear Admiral Robert L. Baines arrived. Upon his arrival, Baines assessed the situation and informed Governor Douglas that he would not escalate the conflict into a war between nations over a squabble about a pig. When news about the crisis reached London and Washington, D.C., officials from both nations were shocked and took action to calm the potentially explosive international incident. During the years of joint military occupation, the small British and American units on San Juan Island had an amicable, mutual social life, visiting one another's camps to celebrate their respective national holidays and holding various athletic competitions. Park rangers tell visitors the biggest threat to peace on the island during these years was the large amounts of alcohol available. This state of affairs continued for the next 12 years. The dispute was peacefully resolved after more than a decade of confrontation and military bluster, during which time local British authorities lobbied London to seize back the Puget Sound region, while the Americans were busy elsewhere with the Civil War. In 1866, the colony of Vancouver Island was merged with the colony of British Columbia to form an enlarged colony of British Columbia. In 1871, the enlarged colony joined the newly formed Dominion of Canada. In that year, the United Kingdom and the United States signed the Treaty of Washington to address various issues, including the San Juan Islands dispute. The treaty decided to resolve the dispute through international arbitration, with German Emperor Wilhelm I as the arbitrator. Representing the United States, George Bancroft successfully argued the case. The Arbitration Commission met in Geneva for almost a year and, on October 21, 1872, decided in favor of the United States. The Commission chose the American preferred boundary via the Haro Strait over the British preferred Rosario Strait. On November 25, 1872, the British withdrew their Royal Marines from the British camp. The Americans followed by July 1874. The Pig War is commemorated in San Juan Island National Historical Park.